What's up, guys? Studfit here. We have another episode of The Rundown, joined by my good friend, Antalev. Welcome, man.
Hello. Thanks for having me again.
So we have the Sundae tour. We have a lot of new items. We have a what looks to be a nitro track. So we'll have some interesting conversations about what that means for the meta. So let's get into it. Before we do anything else, I want to make a huge thank you to all of our members. You'll see the super studs, the stud members. I think we're up to 87 members in total, which is phenomenal to see that grow. And then as we have a members only Discord channel, it's been great to see that community grow as well. I've been pretty busy this week. If you didn't catch my top 10 explanation, I finished number 11 in the All Cup ranking. I was about 9,000 short. I wasn't sure what the gentleman or female in front of me was going to end at. I was told maybe 1.88. They finished at like 1.85. So there was a chance I could have potentially beat them, but I was literally grinding until I literally fell asleep. So I think I woke up with my phone in my hand. So I put everything I possibly could into it. I put about 40 hours into the tour. So to get 11th place with only putting 40 hours, for me, that's probably about as much as I'm going to put into a tour. I even took a day off of work just to put a little bit, from bump it to probably 35 hours to about 40 hours. So overall, it would have been nice to have gotten that badge. There'll be another chance maybe one day in the future, but I've shifted my strategy. But either way, the reason I mention that here is I've had so much support from the members on here. Definitely so much love and encouragement, and I absolutely couldn't have. I mean, I honestly wouldn't be doing what I do if it wasn't for these people. So fortunate for everyone here on this list. Also, shout out to Big Brolo, who won our action count competition. He's our action count king for the tour. So big ups to Big Brolo. Let's get into the tour. We got a lot to talk about. First of all, we have the Sundae Pipe 1, which has a lot of new items in it, including a giant banana character, this white Tanuki Mario. We had predictions on our channel. No one guessed it right. So it's safe to say it was a surprise. However, as you know, I did predict 5 giant banana drivers this year of giant banana, and so far we're doing pretty well to match that pace. So it was a little bit of a bold statement, but it looks like it's not so bold anymore now that we've gotten a number of giant banana characters, depending if you count the DK suit or anything like that. We're looking at least 3 new characters with giant banana this year. So, Antalev, this week 1 pipe, did you pull on it?
No, I did. I was kind of going to wait and see, and I did like a YOLO 10, and I got both gliders. And then I was like, okay, fine, that's good, that's enough. I'm just going to be like done here. And then like later I was like, well, let's just try like another, YOLO 10. So I did, and I got one of the Karts and I think 2 off spotlight items, and did another one, and I got like the other Karts. So I had 3 10 pulls, and I had both carts and both spotlight carts and both spotlight gliders.
Wow.
Yeah. I ended up going back today and spending my last 135 rupees for 3 more pulls, and I got both the drivers as well. So I got pretty lucky with this pipe. 6 10 pulls, and I got everything in it. But it's an interesting pipe. I mean, there's five new spotlights, new spotlight items. So in that sense, it's quite good value. And we have a plus skill driver. I'm not the biggest fan of his starting tracks, but we will get to that, I guess, in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to his tracks and the coverage of these new items. But to have really just one pre-existing item in the pipe with 5 spotlight brand new items is pretty rare. Obviously, one of those being a brand new skill, plus skill. I will say from coming out of this top 10 experience, which I explained in depth on my reaction video on Wednesday, right before I headed out of town. But one of my new things I'm going to be doing is kind of scaling back the time I put into the game and the money and energy I put into the game with a busy conference season coming up and a lot going on. Just here with our family. I'm actually starting a certification program with through my career, so there's a lot to be doing that's more efficient that I can spend 40 hours a week or 40 hours over 2 weeks on that would probably benefit my family and my career better. So you'll see here in a second. I have a movement. Feel free to especially for those whales who might want to scale things back. GP90X, Gold Pass plus 90 rubies a tour, and then the X actually stands for just budgeting time. So, it might be 10 hours a week, might be 10 hours a tour, might be, whatever would be a budget for you, kind of setting that budget. That can be, an X amount. You decide what that is. But for me and what I'm doing, GP90X, so for me, I did a YOLO in this pipe, and then I did get my one pack, which I'll talk about which one I got. And I used 70 of those 90 rubies to get the me with the ice cream head, which, I think with this new strategy, these Miis are just bleeding the rubies. It's really, I understand everyone's pain. It's really hard to be able to dedicate 70 rubies every tour to getting these Miis, but it is 100% worth it. Going forward, my strategy will actually be to not invest in any drivers whatsoever, except for Mii suits. If you are ever looking for the turning point in which Miis have taken over the meta to the point where it may not even make sense to invest in any other drivers other than Miis, now is that point. So we'll get into a lot of that, but for me and where I am, I'm halfway down this pipe, and I only have the that top glider that you see here, that brand new glider. So I do not have the Mario. We'll see if I get the ranked rubies and what happens there. There's a couple other rubies I can get, but ultimately I might have to get through this tour without getting Mario, which I'm not going to invest in anyway based on my strategy of investing in Miis. So I'm not too worried about it. That'll be wondering how I'm going to get these coins, etc. So stay tuned for how this new strategy is impacting a recovering whales account. But I'm halfway through this pipe, and I'm actually really sad. I'm hoping I can stick through with my dedication, because it would be nice to get all these cool new items. They do look really cool, but let's talk about their coverage, because I think that's probably more important than how they look. There are so many new items. When you take into consideration the Mii suit, you take into consideration the commemorative item, and we have a total of 9 new items. 2 drivers, 3 carts, and 4 gliders. Antolev, tell us a little bit about the coverage for these brand new items.
Okay, so let's start with White Tanuki Mario. He starts out with 9 tracks, but as we mentioned before, the Nitro track, we're considering Sky High Sundae as a Nitro track. So similar to Merry Mountain, similar to Ninja Hideaway, that means that they're gonna get the same value as a city based on the fact that they'll only return more or less like once a year. That's, we'll get to it later. That's something maybe we're going to reassess in future things. But for right now, we're not considering the Sky High Sundae buff as important. So we're going to look at the retro tracks that he has for coverage. So he's got 6 tracks. He's got 2 Yoshi Valley variants. He's got Vanilla Lake 1T, 2 RMX Vanilla Lake variants, and Donut Plains 2T. It's an okay start. I've seen a lot better. He has got some pretty significant overlap with some other drivers. Not any one specific driver where he has a ton of overlap with, but there's a bunch of plus skill drivers where he shares 2 tracks with Yoshi Kangaroo, Yoshi Gold Egg, Shy Guy Ninja, Roasted in the Fallen Dom, PD Piranha. So I mean, if you've invested in some of those drivers, he may be less interesting to you. That being said, his most valuable tracks are probably the Yoshi Valley tracks, and those are not really that good for Giant Banana because of the split path. So you can use Giant Banana on them. I do with Pinja, I think, on the Yoshi Valley end, but
yep.
It's difficult because of the split paths there. It makes Giant Banana much less effective. So I would say his start is kind of below average for a new plus skill driver. If you're considering clearing the pipe for him or not, it's better than Chef Rosalina's start, but yeah, I mean, compared to something like Thai Daisy or PD Piranha, it's not that good of a start. The Ice Creamy Racing Suit is only starts with 7 tracks. 5 of them are assumed retros. 3 overlaps with Penguin Mario and 3 overlaps with Daisy Fairy. That's not too concerning. And that suit's got a couple of overlaps with plus skill drivers, 2 with Yoshi Kangaroo, 2 with Mario Samurai, and 2 with Bowser Santa. Let's move over to the cards. we've got these two minibuses. Yeah, size-wise, they're a little bit bigger actually than the green double decker. I thought they were going to be like pallet swaps, but I guess they're wheels or something like that. They're measured a little bit bigger. They are. If you have the jukebox buggy, it's around the same size. They're around the same size as the jukebox buggy, or maybe like a little bit smaller than the Happy Rides. They're not big carts. But they're not like the tiniest carts. They're kind of on like the low end of medium. They're definitely not carts you would use for the hitbox. So those would be carts you'd want to like grab onto, and if they get amazing coverage, kind of like jukebox buggy, they could be worth it in the future. But if you're a really big fan of hitbox, I would skip these carts.
And just to kind of insert some information there. So the hitbox essentially is worth 2 parts wide, 1 part length. So if you're wondering like how does the really long aspect of it impact the hitbox, there's kind of a 45-degree drift angle that we consider, but the width is twice as valuable as the length. So from that perspective, we want wider carts. Longer carts are okay. There's sometimes situations where you can get those coins because of how you're drifting, but I will say having a longer cart, you also run the risk of being hit by a shell or something bouncing off of something, or as you're drifting, someone shooting something straight and clipping the front of your cart. So for what it's worth, width is better than length in the algorithm for the hitbox. So just wanted to insert that there. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. And like a lot of these ice cream themed items are getting a lot of like Vanilla Lake and RMX Vanilla Lake ones. So those are like a little bit older tracks, which are maybe a little bit less valuable. Just to give an idea of like what kind of starting value these carts are going to have. So I mean we've got the ice cream minibus is starting with actually 10 tracks. Oh, sorry. 9 tracks, and three of which are the Sky High Sundae tracks. Otherwise, it's got 2 RMX Vanilla Lakes, 2 regular Vanilla Lakes, but it does have 2 Coconut Malls. So those are probably the 2 most valuable tracks. Mm-hmm. You've got the chocolate banana minibus, and I forgot to mention the overlap. The ice cream minibus is overlapping 3 times with the white snow skimmer, 3 times with Sweet Ride, 3 times with the penguin slider, 3 times with the gold zucchini, 3 times with the frosty bells, 3 times with cream bee dasher Mark II, and 3 times with the 8-bit pipe frame. Moving over to the chocolate banana minibus, we're starting here with is it 10 tracks? Yeah, that one is starting with 10 tracks. 3 of them are the Sky High Sundaes. It's got 2 of the baby parks, and so that's pretty good. 2 of the Koopa Capes, 1 Yoshi Valley R, and it's got RMX Vanilla Lake, 1 T, and Donut Plains 2 R. That's a stronger start, I would say. If I have to pick one of these cards to do better, I'm going to pick the Chocolate Banana minibus. It has more newer tracks and more tracks in general. Overlapping 5 times with the Strawberry Soft Swerve, the new one, 4 times with Goo Goo Pink, 3 times with Green Cat Cruiser, 3 times with the Flowery Badwagon, and 3 times with the Cupid's Arrow. So that last one is a little worrying, but otherwise not too much in the way of overlap. And finally, you have this Strawberry Soft Swerve. Hitbox wise, it's kind of similar to the Sweet Ride, but it's a little bit more narrow. So it's like an extra large as opposed to a giant cart. That one is starting with 9 tracks. I think 2 of them are Sky High Sundae. It's got a couple of Koopa Capes. It's got a couple of Baby Parks. 2 Donut Plains, 2s, an RMX Vanilla Lake 1, and I think that's it, right? Yeah. This is a decent start as well. Maybe not quite as good as the Chocolate Banana minibus, but it has a much better hitbox. So this is actually like a big cart. However, it's in the weak 2 pipes, so it makes it more difficult to get because it's probably the only thing you're wanting to go in for. Moving over to the gliders, we've got the 2 new balloons. We've got the mint and berry balloons, which I really like. I like them. How they look like. 9 tracks. Starting with 9 tracks, it's got 3 of those are Sky High Sundae, so 6 assumed tracks. It's got 2 RMX Vanilla Lakes, Vanilla Egg 1R, and then it's got Baby Park, Coconut Mall, and Cooper Cape T. So half new 2022 tracks and half older tracks. And it has overlap with Polka Dot Manta Glider 4 times, Flying Flappers 4 times, Icy Mario Mustache 3 times, Galaxy Glider 3 times, Candlelight Flight Cake 3 times, and Aurora Balloons 3 times. We've got the Vanilla and Chocolate Balloons, and that one is starting with 9 tracks. 2 of them are Sky High Sundaes. It's got 2 Baby Parks, Coconut Mall, Koopa Cape, RMX Rainbow Road 2 RT that's in ranked, and RMX Vanilla Lake 1. So again, kind of a mix of newer and older. Oh, and Rosalina's Ice World RT. It's also a bit kind of in the middle. These 2, I think, these gliders are going to depend on what's your coverage. If they fill any gaps for you, like if those Baby Parks are hard for you to cover, maybe this is an interesting one to look at. It overlaps with the Tropical Balloons 4 times, the Glittering Parasol 4 times, 3 times with Starry Great Sail, 3 times with Silver Surfmaster, 3 times with Pink Gold Meteors, 3 times with Green Cat Parafoil, and 3 times with the Galaxy Glider. Those are some pretty meta gliders in that list. That's a lot of overlap with like good gliders. So have a good look at what you have and what overlaps there. And then finally, we got not finally, but actually have the Icy Mario's Mustache. I think this is in the special pipe. I don't know if it's a spotlight or not. Is it? It's a spotlight, right?
Yes, sir.
Starting with 6 assumed retro tracks and 3 Sky High Sundaes for a total of 9. It's got 2 Vanilla Lakes and 3 RMX Vanilla Lakes and a Rosalina's Ice World RT. I would say this is not going to be a good glider just based on the start. It's got all kind of older tracks, doesn't have any of the 2022 tracks. And it's a pretty obvious going to be like a ice themed glider. It's going to get like all icy tracks, so like your Frappe Snowlands, for example, or Vanilla Lakes, whatever you want. I know it's a spotlight in a special pipe, and they tend to be good, but the start of this one is not good. I would say it's like the worst start of any of the 4 new gliders. And then finally we have the commemorative, and for the overlap, it's got things like Silver Surfmaster, Polka Dot Manta Glider, Luigi Parafoil, Galaxy Glider, Aurora Balloons, a lot of ice-themed gliders in there as well. Finally, we've got the commemorative glider. We haven't had one of those in a while, the Flying Flappers. This one, commemorative items usually get a spotlight boost on the first track of every cup, so it's got a couple of extra tracks for ACR. It's starting with 9 tracks, only 1 Sky High Sundae though, so 8 assumed tracks, so that's a pretty strong start. It's got 2 Koopa Capes, it's got 2 RMX Vanilla Lakes, it's got RMX Rainbow Road 2 RT, it's got 2 Wario Shipyards. None of the other new items in this tool really have Wario Shipyards. That's interesting. And Vanilla Lake 1R. I say that's a pretty strong start. I would say that's maybe the strongest start of all 4 of the gliders. The fact that it only has 1 Sky High Sundae and has 8 retros is a pretty promising sign. So that would be my pick for the best of the 4 new gliders.
Nice, it's helpful to know. Yeah, and if you viewers at home, if you're interested in finding out more about what we consider a nitro track and why we've kind of decided to keep those separate, feel free to reach out to us in the comments or in the community. But we do believe that because we might only see this track, it's not a lot of these retro tracks were created in Game Boy or GameCube or N64 or whatever. So these retro tracks are the assumed tracks that we see all over the place. And for sometimes like Warrior Shipyard, we see 7 times this year. Versus these nitro tracks like Ninja Hideaway, like Merry Mountain, where we only see it once a year. So we almost kind of have to put it on the shelf and just say, hey, this is once a year. Anselab and I have talked back and forth quite a lot onto how we handle this, but for now we're handling it as a city. We're putting it in the nitro track category and treated like a city. So feel free, if you'd like to find out more. We're not going to take too much more time to discuss that, but just feel free to reach out to us. Nothing new added for drivers to the 100 piper into these permanent items, but there is a cart and there is a glider. For the cart, it is the White Snow Skimmer, but these are all the different options you have for all clear pipes, etc. And then for gliders, we have the Calico Parafoil added. So very nice. It's not a bad glider. Certainly we've seen better days for it, but I know it was a little fan favorite there for a little bit. Going into pipe 2, we have basically a garbage pipe, in my opinion. It's something I wouldn't recommend for people to go into, not plus skills for the drivers. Less than favorable other items. There is this new cart that we discussed already, but even that doesn't seem to be too glamorous. Overall, I think with all the pipes, I think the pipe 1 seems to be the most attractive. I find this one even the least attractive compared to even the special pipe. But what are your thoughts here in this week 2 pipe, Angelev?
I mean, like what you said, it's not like a garbage pipe. There are some like interesting items here. Aurora Balloons is a very good glider. Snow Crystals is an okay glider. It's a kind of medium, mid-range glider. It's not great. It's not bad. Frosty Bell's pretty good cart. I don't think it's top 15, but it's like top 25. That's a little bit due to how small it is. And then you got the new car. I think it's mostly the drivers that are kind of weighing this pipe down. Like Penguin Toadette and Penguin Toad are just not really interesting to go into a 100 pipe for. They're older drivers with bad skills, you know, and for that reason, I mean, I think either you're a Penguin fan and you don't have them and you want them, or you are a whale and you're gonna clear it to get that one new cart. But otherwise, I don't see a reason to go. I'm not going to touch this Snyder account.
Yeah, I'm staying far away from it. I will say this 50 pipe, it's going to be interesting. It does look like it's going to be 12% odds. We also do have the spotlight of this brand new Ice Mario mustache, but as Angelev alluded to, it's not got the great coverage. It's got a not a good scale with the green shell. Traditionally, the green shell gliders have had more number of coverage, but most people are trying to not have a green plus glider if they can avoid it. There has been some controversy, whether from data mining, that the green shell skill will increase your odds of getting a green shell. I do believe that is the case, but I know there are a number of other people who have decided that they do not believe that, which is perfectly fine. We might be fighting about this until the end of days, but I think overall this is a pipe that I usually love. By the way, I absolutely love special pipes. I love them so much. This one's I'm probably not going to go into. There's just a lot of old items, a lot of items that are in permanent in the pipe or whatever that don't really offer a lot of value. I will say if you're at home and if you've always missed out on Aurora or the Comet Tail, feel free to go into this pipe. I will say the Galaxy Glider is by far the best item in this pipe, in my opinion, and I don't even think that's close. So, Angelev, what are your opinions on this pipe, and will you be pulling on either of your accounts?
Yeah, this is a kind of typical quantity over quality. There's a lot of crap here. All the drivers pretty much useless. All of the carts, not really very interesting. Comet Tail used to be a good one, but it's a bit old now. It's seen better days. The Galaxy Glider is a great glider, but I mean it's a 1 of 4, and you have to keep in mind that if the new one is a spotlight, then it's like a 1 in 3 chance of getting it in 50 pulls. So that's I really see no compelling reason to go into this pipe, especially considering the bad start that the Icy Mario mustache has. So for me, this is a hard pass, even at 12%.
Yeah, I'm with you there. For me, I'm going into week 1 pipe barely, and even if I was, back to my whaling ways, I would be resetting the pipe 1 and just kind of doubling up on Mario, and there's that's the only pipe I would be even considering, in my opinion. But let's talk about the packs. So I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but I don't like any of these packs. I don't even want to explain why I don't like them. None of them seem really even that appealing. Even my Ice Dozer is not doing so well. Personally, I don't like any of them. Now, you will see here, I had worked with Puffy, and she put together this GP90X logo. Essentially, it's demonstrating that I'm valuing, family, my own personal finances, and I'm putting that more important than this game. And so I'm budgeting myself 190 ruby. It can be 245 ruby packs or just 190 ruby pack, but I'm setting a budget and I'm sticking to it. And I think that for many of us who have been whaling for so long, I think this is a wise idea. For me, if I go for top 10 anytime in the future, it'll be when I can spend more than 40 hours in a tour. I'm kind of sick and tired of only being able to put 40 hours just based on the limits of life. and then ending up a little bit short. So I'm going to make sure when I go in, I'm going to go in like Antlev and have time off, invest in everything that tour, instead of putting investments in weird things that I don't like, that's going to pivot me away from things. But hey, if I take 3 months, even if I go back to whaling in 3 months or something like that, a couple $1,000s more in my bank account over that period of time, and I'm sure I'll be able to catch up pretty well. But I'm going to save tickets, except for on me suits. But for me, my one pack, the 90 rubies that I'm going to be getting this tour will be coming from this Gray Cat Cruiser. And actually, I fought pretty hard. The one shift in my thought process was even thinking about this Iron Cucumber. I know we've kind of been foo-fooing this 90 ruby pack that only comes with one item, but if that one item is the most valuable item out there, and Cat Rosalina is not going to do anything for your account, or Tanuki Mario is not going to do anything for your account, then why not just get that one item that you actually would find useful? I do think the Iron Cucumber is an above average value. I don't think it's great. I think, though, for me, the end-all decision was the Gray Cat Cruiser. I looked on the Bama Gerb spreadsheet through Antlev, and that card could fill a couple gaps. So worst case scenario, if I have it, I now have it at level, I think, 3. So for me, that was just nice to be able to have. But I really was not excited about any of these packs. Antlev, what are your thoughts on these packs? Did you get any of these, or what's your thoughts on budgeting?
No, I honestly haven't been buying packs in I think the last thing I bought was, I bought the 8-bit 1-up mushroom. But I haven't really been going for packs lately, just because I haven't been there's always been like, oh, this is a good item, but it's the only item in a 90 ruby pack, or like, here's a 90 ruby pack, but there's one good item and one terrible item, or here's some like really lame 45 ruby pack. So and this kind of seems like a follow up to that. The one that you're buying is the least bad one. Cat Rosalina is what she is. I don't think she's really worth it, but the Gray Cat Cruiser is a very good card. I mean, it's held back a little bit by its small hitbox. If it had a above average hitbox, I would say it's an easy top 10 card. So if for that reason, I would say it's the least bad one. I would say if you're looking to spend money, always a premium challenge is a good one. White Yoshi's not that interesting, but I mean, the tickets and the rubies, it's kind of worth it. And a commemorative glider, pick that one up. That's a decent one. I'm gonna buy that one, I think, at least once.
Yeah, I had been buying them 3 times, but then they just sat there anyway. So for me, I just got it once. Again, just try and kind of set this budget for time and money. So that's what the GP90X. For me, I think the goal would be to cut down to 10 hours a week, which for me is actually pretty good. All Cup ranking, I usually dedicate about 10 to 12 hours, and then it's usually maybe 5-6 hours grinding EXP and on 200 CCs, and then some Kart Pro, some multiplayer. Either way, my budget will be 10 hours this week, which I think for me is actually you might sound like that's a lot, but to me that's an improvement. But for me, it's like just and I appreciate Puffy putting this together. It's just, for me, it's finding a healthy balance where no matter what, my family, my home, my finances are prioritized over this game, which for me had to be done. And certainly needed a little intervention, and finishing number 11th certainly put me in that state. So let's talk about the buffs. There are some unique buffs this tour, in that there's a lot less of them. I mean, you'd have to be under a rock to not notice that we have Wario Shipyard, Vanilla Lake, Coconut Mall again. I've heard it thousands of times this week. Hey, did anybody notice this? And it's like, we're all noticing. If you do all cup ranking, it's unavoidable. We have Wario Shipyard, Coconut Mall, Vanilla Lake, and a lot of these tracks are from 2022. The Vanilla Lake one scratches my head. I don't know what their obsession is with this track, why they continue giving it to us, but it's one of the trends of 2022 is noticing that we have these tracks shoved down our throat for multiple tours, sometimes in a row. I think we've seen Wario Shipyard 7 times this year, and so I've been loving it because I think two of those tracks have Vampire Flyer. So I've been loving that aspect of it. There's a lot of uniqueness to it. But if you think about, say, Bowser's Castle, right? The 3D Bowser Castle, I think, Antlev, you mentioned, we've seen it like 7 times, which is like 3 or 4 times more than any of the other Bowser's castles combined, between the 64 and these other versions. So there is something to be said for the buffs that we have this year, and we talked back and forth about how that impacts our top 10. What you'll notice here is that for any item that got buffed, a Nitro track, which is this Sundae, Sky High Sundae, any of those variants you'll see in red, meaning that they get that buff, but it doesn't really help them when it comes to the algorithm or how we be able to prioritize investing in them. But you'll notice here, Rosalina Chef gets the SNES Vanilla Lake 1T, which is already a crowded track, but certainly helpful if you really enjoy that. It's a good Giant Banana track for what it's worth. I think in general, Giant Banana tracks are better for longer tracks where you're going to get 200 actions. So this is a shorter track, but there are some really narrow areas, and I think you'll actually want to get a Giant Banana and then figure out how you could possibly go slow down and let people actually get the hits, because before you know it, the race will be over and people are still on lap 1. So I think that part's really tough for her. It's not necessarily the best buff, especially having an old track as well. And then Daisy Sailor gets the SNES Vanilla Lake 1, which is not a great track for her either, but she's not a plus skill. So I think really on this list, you'll notice that Berta White is number 17 on our list with 21 assumed tracks in 6 cities. Angela, your thoughts on the drivers with 2 buffs?
Yeah, like you said, there just aren't that many of them. I'm kind of frustrated with this tour because, we are having, Wario Shipyard and RMX Vanilla Lake and Coconut Mall, but actually this tour is one of the laziest implementations of track selection from Nintendo that I've ever seen. There's 36 tracks in a tour, 12 cups, each with 3 tracks. 7 of those on this tour are taken up by Sky High Sundae variants. You've got the NRT each doubled and then the RT ones. So out of the 29 tracks left, 22 of them are just copy pasted from the last tour. We have 7 courses with all 3 variants that we see again, and then also RMX Rainbow Road 2RT is in again. So there are almost no buffs this tour. There are 30 retro buffs in total, 12 for drivers, 10 for gliders, and 8 for carts. So there's nothing going on, and it's getting really frustrating trying to make investments because we have these items that have come out in the early part of 2022, and they still have so many tracks left to see. I mean, okay, going back to Wario versus Waluigi, that's almost 7 months ago. We still haven't seen since then Dino Jungle, DK Pass, 3DS Mario Circuit, Neo Bowser City. These are all great tracks, and the community loves them, and we miss them, and we want to have them back. Let's go back to Amsterdam 4 months ago. We haven't seen since then Airship Fortress, Maple Treeway, SNES Rainbow Road, and then going back to the Cat Tour, which is 2.5, that's 2.5 months ago. There's more: Koopa Troopa Beach, N64 Koopa Troopa Beach, Mushroom Gorge, RMX Coast Valley 1, Toad Circuit, RMX Choco Island 2. Okay, the last one they can leave off. But I mean, in total, if you go back to Cat Tour, there's 34 courses, which we haven't seen since Cat Tour. That's 2.5 months ago. That's half of all the retros that are out there. This summer we have just gotten nothing in terms of variety, and it's really frustrating because we're waiting to see how these items are going to develop, what kind of buffs they're going to get, and it's just not coming. So they'll see later in the rankings there are some drivers which have been ranked a lot, which are a little bit lower than you might expect, and it's because they don't have that many tracks, and it's because they just still have a lot of tracks to see. So okay, there's my rant. Let's get on to
how you really
buff.
feel, Lev.
Yeah, well, no, I'm getting a little agitated because I've made investments and I keep my eye on specific items that I want to invest in, and there's just we don't get to see what their complete picture is like, and it's way after the fact now. It's items that have been out 3, 4, 5 months. We should get close to a complete picture of what their coverage is, and we don't have it. So. For the buffs, nothing on the first page is really interesting. Like I said, there's so few buffs that it's not really, I would say that like super interesting. I think maybe I got more to say if we go to the second page.
Yeah, let's go there. So we have this gold Mii Racing suit getting the Sky High Sundae T, the bronze Mii Racing suit getting the SNES Vanilla Lake 1T, which I think is a phenomenal buff just because being a short track with Boomerang, that's always good. You want short tracks so you get your boombox and then move on. And there's a number of mid-shelf coin box drivers there. Ultimately, you're trying to get as many actions in such a short period of time. The boombox can be OP on this track, but it's up to 18 assumed tracks, 2 cities for the bronze Mii Racing suit. Daisy Tydress, huge winner this tour, getting the SNES Donut Plains 2R. So she's number 6 on our list, 12 assumed tracks, 4 cities. And what's interesting for her, for someone like myself who invested in her, and then all the tracks that she basically got 4 tours ago we've seen over and over again. So Coconut Mall, as an example, I've been able to use her on those tracks, and they're pretty rare to have a really top skill on. So she's been continuing to win, and somehow she avoided getting any of these nitro tracks, which is phenomenal for her as well. So a huge win for Daisy Tydress, one of the bigger winners here. Mario Samurai, he's one some people have been avoiding just because he has so much overlap. But this is a good buff with the SNES Vanilla Lake 1R. Not necessarily a good buff in that there are you don't have any options, and this is super paywalled. It's not paywalled at all. But again, kind of going back to this bronze Mii Racing suit on the Vanilla Lake 1T, being able to get a boombox and a coin and getting off this track is really, really helpful there. Silver Mii Race suit though, it does get the Sky High Sundae, but that is a ranked track, so you're considering that a win. It's up to 14 assumed tracks and 5 cities, which is a significant amount of cities considering it only has 19 total tracks. But number 10 on our list, Petey Piranha gets the SNES Donut Plains 2T, which is a pretty good track for him. It's weird having these Vanilla Lakes and Donut Plains. These are really short tracks, so any of these boombox drivers it's a plus there. Rosalie Volendam gets the Sky High RT, which is a ranked track, but it is this nitro track. So she's up to 16 assumed tracks, 7 cities there. Daisy Farmer gets the SNES Vanilla Lake 1. The question mark block Mii Racing suit, a good little winner here with the Rosalina Ice World RT, up to number 33 on our list with 12 assumed tracks, 3 cities. Then we'll kind of skip down here. Nabbit Mii Racing suit gets the Vanilla Lake 1R. The Petey Piranha Mii Racing suit gets the Donut Plains 2. The Cheap Mii Racing suit gets the Vanilla Lake 1, and the Dolphin Mii Racing suit gets the Vanilla Lake 1T. So you'll notice there's a lot of Donut Plains, a lot of Vanilla Lakes. What are your thoughts here, Antilev?
Yeah, those are basically the only tracks you can get buffed on that RMX Rainbow Road 2RT. The Rosaline Ice World RT rather. Yeah, so there's a couple of it, even though there's not that many buffs, there's a couple of really interesting ones here. First one is the Blockhead, the question block Mii Racing suit. This is a really good buff from him. It's in ranked, first of all. Second of all, the model counts this track as an exclusive for him. I know Bowser Claus has this, but it's a level 8 unlock. And so the Blockhead has this as the only coin box. We don't take level 8 unlocks into account when we're talking about exclusives. I think it's that's a decision we had to make when we were setting up the model. I think it's a fair one because 99% of players are not going to have access to level 8 items, so I think it would be unfair to assume level 8 is there. So that's an exclusive for him, so that's a very valuable buff. He is up to, I think, 6 exclusive coin box tracks. So he's got, I think, 12 non-cities. Half of them are exclusive. So this is definitely an example of quality over quantity. Bronze Mii, Vanilla Lake 1T would be a really fun boombox track. It's a track where you struggle to get 200 with a coin box. I think 200 could be more possible, or you getting like a 180 plus there with Bronze Mii. So that's a really nice buff for him. Petey Piranha getting the Donut Plains 2T. This is a really interesting one because there is already a boomerang driver here, Shy Guy Ninja, but before this tour, this track did not have a mid-shelf coin box driver. Now, Ty Daisy got that as a mid-shelf, so that is a hidden buff to Shy Guy Ninja, but it also makes the buff to Petey Piranha also very good as well. So this is actually like a nice track it's going to be a nice track to boombox now that you get a mid-shelf coin box. Rosalina Chef, we discussed it before. She got Vanilla Lake 1T, but I think it's not going to be the best boombox track, giant banana track rather, because it's just a little bit too short. And then finally, the Samurai's buff on the Vanilla Lake 1R. This is one of those tracks that, like, myself and other people in the community have been saying, when are we going to get a boomerang on these Vanilla Lake tracks? We didn't get one on N, but we did go on R. And for me, R is like the hardest of all the Vanilla Lakes to grind with Coinbucks. Being able to do this with boomerang would be, I mean, I don't have Samurai, but if I had, it's a really great buff for him, because it's going to be so much nicer to do these short $4 tracks with boomerangs instead of Coinbucks. So I know people are like anti-Samurai, and I've got a lot of questions like, why he's in the top 10, blah blah, but this is a really nice buff for him.
Yeah, no, I think he's extremely valuable, but we are so concerned with overlap. This gives me X amount of tracks for my account. Hey, get that. But sometimes if you create this pillar, you could ride it out. So he's a good pillar to have if you haven't already invested in one or you need it for some coverage. Don't be shy if you have to invest in him. He'd be a good pillar. And then there are 4 carts with 2 buffs. The biggest winner on this list is the Tropical Truck, hands down,
Definitely.
in my opinion. So both of its buffs are non-nitro tracks, and it gets no Sky High Sundae. So the Rosaline Ice World RT, maybe you have a track for that, but it's a non-city buff. So you're really happy about that. And the Donut Plains 2T. So again, really any of these buffs that are not nitro, yeah, you probably have some coverage. But Tropical Truck is a fan favorite, a personal fan favorite for myself, as it's level 8 700 for me. I absolutely love that it gets these buffs, and I'm really happy of how they've been treating it here recently. It's up to only 12 assumed tracks though, with 2 cities, number 52 on our list. So it might be a slow climber, but I'm considering this a huge win for the Tropical Truck. The Coral Jet Cruiser, gets the Vanilla Lake 1R, which is okay. It's up to 10 assumed tracks. Obviously, it's brand new. 1 city, number 18 on our list, though. So that's the biggest piece here, is just already be aware, Coral Jet Cruiser breaking the top 20 in its second tour. So we'll see. It doesn't have a huge hitbox. So obviously, there's a lot of other factors that have really kept it heavy to compensate for that above and beyond what it would normally need if it had a nice hitbox. So, you're thinking about if it had a giant hitbox, it would be, trying to break in the door of that top 10. Flowery Bandwagon, number 57, 9 assumed tracks, 2 cities. The biggest win here for it is the Donut Plains 2T. But then, of course, you get this nice little ranked track as well. For Ice Dozer, number 139, which is really high. 13 assumed tracks, 10 cities. So not great for the Ice Dozer. Not a stud, and it gets 2 buffs that are nitro tracks. So probably the loser of all losers when it comes to the carts. However, it's in rank. So for what it's worth, keep that in the back of your mind. But again, you could do better than that. As for the carts with 1 buff, the Piranha Pipes, it gets the Rosalina's Ice World RT. The Sneaker gets the Vanilla Lake 1. The Watermelon Cart, pretty good start there for it being a ranked reward, which we haven't always seen great starts from in the past. Got the Donut Plains 2R. You might have coverage there, but 9 assumed tracks, 1 city there for the Watermelon Cart. And then the Gold Zucchini, got the Vanilla Lake 1T. Nothing really too else I want to state, but the Lightning Streamliner ranked track, it gets the Sky High Sundae T. I think that was a really popular one. It's up to number 29 on our list with 10 assumed tracks, 3 cities. The White Bruiser, 13 assumed tracks, 5 cities, number 30 on our list. We have the Sakura Hot Rod, 13 assumed tracks, 8 cities, number 69 on our list. I think that's really all I was going to discuss here on this slide. But Angela, what are your thoughts on the carts with 2 buffs and 1 buff, since I skipped ahead?
Yeah, I mean, there's only 8 retro buffs for carts. Not really a lot to talk about, is there? Sneaker got the new retro Vanilla Lake 1. It's in ranked. Piranha Pipes got the Rosaline's Ice Rose RT, also in ranked, so that's nice. I do want to say that, like, getting a new Sky High Sundae track is not useless, especially if it's the NRT version, which are in ranked. That's worth about, in our model, half of what an RT is worth, or maybe a quarter of what like an older N or RT track. So it's not completely useless, although that value will fade over time as the ranked buff kind of fades away and the track gets older. But yeah, I mean, really not much to say here because there's not a whole lot of meaningful movement. I mean, maybe Nintendo will surprise us and they will treat Sky High Sundae as a returning track, as a retro, in which case we have to, that would definitely mix things up, but for now we have to treat it the same way as Ninja Hideaway and Merry Mountain.
This entire episode would have a totally different vibe if they did that. I would hope that Nintendo would be willing to do that, but you can already kind of tell, like just looking at the top shelf, that this is going to be, when it comes back, next summer, maybe even in the winter. Like, they're leaving a lot of room for other items. It just seems like they're kind of giving, 4 or 5 items for that top shelf. And I don't know, that just, to me, it kind of screams Nitro too, for what it's worth. But ultimately, I hope that they don't make it a Nitro, but because it came out with this 8 Deluxe, the general community, the general consensus has been to treat it like a Nitro. Moving on to gliders, there was one glider with 3 buffs. Pretty substantial, decent buff there when it comes to the Donut Plains 2 and the Vanilla Lake 1 for the 8-bit 1-up mushroom, which a lot of people really enjoyed just because it's 8-bit and those items have tended to be stronger. It's got 13 assumed tracks and 1 city. I think it already started with 10 tracks to begin with. So to get 3 there, it's already up to 13, which is phenomenal for a brand new glider, number 42 on our list. And then there are a number of gliders with 2 buffs. The Wonderful Wings, I would say, wins this tour. It came with the Vanilla Lake 1 and Vanilla Lake 1T. Number 3 on our list with only 4 cities and 23 assumed tracks. So a total of 27 tracks. Again, a glider that came out this year, and already with 27 is phenomenal. You do have the Secret Scroll, who gets the Donut Plains 2T, 12 assumed tracks, 1 city, number 27 on our list. The much beloved Tropical Balloons gets now the Donut Plains 2, 11 assumed tracks, 2 cities, number 30 on our list. Spider Glider gets 2 Sky High Sundae buffs. Pretzel Glider gets the Donut Plains 2T. Red and Gold Umbrella, Donut Plains 2. And the Fire Manta Glider gets the Donut Plains 2R. 9 assumed tracks and 2 cities for the Fire Manta Glider at number 71. And so what are your thoughts on these gliders with the more buffs than the one?
Yeah, I mean the 8-bit 1-up mushroom and Wonderful Wings obvious winners here. The rest, there's like not too much stuff. I will say that if whichever gliders got Sky High Sundae N, this is one of the most paywalled glider selections I've ever seen. There's 6 top shelf gliders. 5 of them are banner only, and the last one is Wicked Topaz, which was in a 100 pipe, a weak 100 pipe from a tour. So it's very difficult. So if you have any of them, if you have a top shelf, you're lucky. I have not really seen any people with free to play accounts that have there's an off person here who has a Wicked Topaz, but like my free to play account, I just have to go with the mid shelf glider. There's no way.
Wow. Yeah, but it is the one variation that's not ranked. So you won't have to worry about it this tour necessarily if all you care about is ranked. But I guarantee you when it comes back, R will be in ranked. That's for a fact. But it will get the new buffs from new items that are available that tour. So, but I do think the Wicked Topaz, while we're on that topic and we're moving to gliders with 1 buff, I do think that Wicked Topaz is getting a slow burn. It's getting a nice slow buffing. Kind of similar, it reminds me a little bit of the Candlelight. Could have the potential for a situation similar to the Candlelight Flight, where it didn't have a great start, but it slowly gets some good buffs. I don't know. There was a while there where I didn't know what was happening with it, and I feel a little bit better this tour, just because, for what it's worth, it has this paywalled track, and we'll see what happens. But I'm coming around to having hope for it, where it wasn't there last tour. The Piranha Plant Balloons are the only track that gets a buff that is not a Nitro track. So huge win there for the Piranha Plant Balloons. I don't even feel like talking about the rest, but what are your thoughts, Antelove?
The same as you.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the top 10. There's been a couple changes. really kind of going back to our conversation earlier, Antelope and I went back and forth. We said, guys, there are these tracks that we see over and over and over throughout the year. You'd have to be under a rock to not notice that. It doesn't take a genius to see through that. So what do we do about that, right? So do we weight these items that have come out in the last 6 months, 9 months? How heavy do these do? Are we weighting these? And then if you think about it, there's been so many years where we kind of dogged Rock Mountain, or as an example, as like the perfect situation where there's this track. We don't see it for over a year, and we're starting to kind of see that for almost all 2020 tracks. Things like we mentioned earlier, Neo Bowser City. There's so many tracks that we just haven't seen. Which is more valuable? Is it a Nitro track or one of these 2020 tracks? And should we consider this coverage for these 2020 tracks really important, or by the time it comes back and new items that we have are now buffed on it, how do we try to consider that? So we've tried to keep the integrity of since we're the owners of this top 10, really try to keep that integrity intact. So we've had some conversations. Antelope, what did we make? What changes have we made to the top 10?
Yeah, so basically what we've tried to do is reflect the fact that we are seeing newer tracks a lot more. The sort of nuclear option, which we haven't done yet, is to kind of downgrade the very oldest tracks to kind of maybe not the status of a city, but more like on par with like RTs or Nitros. Are we going to shake up the categories? Are we going to call it something new? That would be like a big overhaul to the model, which we're not really quite willing to take that step yet. If this trend keeps up for another couple of months, then maybe we have to do that. I don't know. But so what we've done in the meantime is change some things. Well, first of all, I should mention this recent past tour and current tour has been a sort of breakthrough point for the Mii. First of all, we found out that there was no 200 bonus point cap for Mii, so they can go above 1,000 points at base or 1,600 points at triple cap. And secondly, there was data mined that there were 24 slots for Mii suits, and it looks like as of next tour we're going to have more than 24 Mii suits. So it seems kind of like there's no end in sight for the potential increase of the Mii base points. So we did give all Miis, previously they had a 5% blanket bonus to their final value. We've upped that to 10% to reflect the fact that they're so much more powerful in the sense of that they have this huge base point advantage. So you're going to see a lot of increases in Miis. If you look at the list of biggest risers, the Miis have kind of dominate that list. And what we've done to sort of compensate for the preponderance of newer tracks in most recent tours, there is a bonus in the model for newness of tracks. So the very newest tracks are worth 20% more than tracks that are 1 year or older, and it kind of like fades out as you go. So a track that's 6 months old would be worth 10% more than a track that's 1 year and older. So what we did is we raised that slider to 40%. So the very newest tracks will be worth 40% more than a year old or older track, and a 6 month old track will be worth 20% more than a year old or older track. We hope that can help put more value on the new tracks that we're seeing more often. We also increased the bonus for paywall tracks. The most paywall tracks in the game, meaning they don't have a super and they have a low number of top shelves. They were worth 30% more than the least paywalled, the ones with 15, 17, 19, whatever top shelves. So we raised that from 30% bonus to 40% bonus. So the newer tracks that have pretty hard paywalls, they're going to be worth more as well. Next we reduced the impact of the ACR track type. Because it seems like it's a little bit less important now, especially because RTs are coming in ranked so much. So that means that RTs are worth a little bit more, and cities are worth a tiny bit more, and then RTs go slightly relatively down. But the main point here is that RTs get a little bit of a buff. We also reduced very slightly the exclusivity bonus for a plus skill or coin box exclusive track where there was only one top shelf driver. That driver would get a 50% bonus. We've reduced it to 45%. It doesn't have a huge impact, but because there is so much overlap and there's so few exclusives left, We're thinking about, lowering that further. And then finally, because we're being drip-fed retro tracks, we lowered the assumed number of buffs. Like, the model basically assumes that new tracks after the first tour will get 9 buffs of retros. We've lowered that now by half a track, so 8.5. So that kind of counteracts a little bit. It's a little bit to make sure we don't have a top 10, top 20, top 15 that's like dominated by like really new items that don't even have that many tracks yet. But it's also, in practice, like, we're just not getting the tracks through fast enough, so it's hard to see. But yeah, that's basically what we changed. We're always open to, if people have ideas for how we can improve it or make it better. Everybody can download when the rankings are published, you can download a copy of the spreadsheet and play around with the variables yourself and see how they affect the ranking. So I would encourage people to do that. And if you have suggestions, or if you have your own version of top 10 based on your own variables, feel free to share with me with Studfit, and we can discuss.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Ultimately, we're just trying to keep this integrity intact, and there's a lot of things. Like, a good example would be, although we've seen Warrior Shipyard come back and over and again, and seen Bowser Castle over and over again, Sky Garden or Mushroom Gorge haven't been quite as heavily used. And now we're starting to see Baby Park come back, and I'm sure we'll see Baby Park for the next 2 tours. Like, that just seems to be how they do. Is they give us a new track, they take it away. They keep it away for about two tours, and then they shove it down our throat and give us for 4 tracks, 4 tours in a row. So I would expect Baby Park to be here for the next 2 tours. Is kind of my prediction, just as an example. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, like what we're trying to do with the model is like make it a little bit like predictive of what's going to happen, but to help you like think about what you're going to do with your investments, But the thing is, some things are just so random. Like, we complain about like the older retros, but actually we've had Yoshi Circuit 4 times this year, which is like more than some newer tracks, And Yoshi Circuit, I think, was a 2019 track. And we had this RMX Vanilla Lake. That's more than a year old now. That track, like, it's also like a kind of older track, and it just got a huge streak. And the thing is, it could disappear next tour. So if we start weighting the value of RMX Vanilla Lake because it's been there for 4 weeks in a row, 4 tours in a row, and then it disappears for the next 6 months, like, what does that say about our ranking? So because Nintendo is so random and they don't seem to have a kind of like rhyme or reason to their track selection, like, we're being a bit conservative with the changes for now.
Yeah, and I also could see Koopa Cape and Yoshi's Valley being back for the next 2 tours as well, kind of in similar tandem. Like, if you had to kind of wrap up this Vanilla Lake remix and Warrior Shipyard and Bowser's Castle and kind of bundle them together, and that's kind of what we're being fed as the entree of the week for the course of the next month, or over the last month. You have to kind of wonder, what is this next bundle? And I do think it might be Koopa Cape and Yoshi Valley. So if you don't have coverage there, and you're kind of thinking about, hey, should I focus on this track or this track? Maybe look at Koopa Cape, maybe look at Yoshi Valley, look at Baby Park. Focus on your coverage right there, because I do expect maybe seeing it the next 2 tours. Either way, the point on this slide is we've thought a lot about this. We're thinking a lot about this. We're trying to take into consideration everything that everyone's observed. But with that being said, let's talk about our top 10 drivers, starting with the Gold Me Racing suit. Today is the day, guys. We knew this was coming. It was a matter of time. And Angela, would this have happened if we didn't give? I think it's the big question people might have was, would the Gold Me Racing suit, if we did not bump that little buff slightly for Mies this tour, would it have still broken into our number 1 driver in the game?
Let me actually check that, because that's actually something I didn't check.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, I'll walk through the rest of the top 10, because that was in my mind. I was like, this is a good time to do it. Because I think our goal was, let's let it organically take over the number 1 spot, and then be able to add things and kind of boost the Mies. I will say my personal opinion is that the Gold Me Racing suit has had the highest ROI of any investment I've ever made in this game. Because of how valuable it's been. It's been in ranked again this tour. It is an absolutely monster driver. And then, of course, you have the base points and everything else. And guys, the Gold Me Racing suit, if you haven't invested in it and you have it, I know it's not everyone has it, but if you have it, please invest in it. It will pay dividends. And for me, I will not be investing in any other driver except for Mies suits going forward. until there's something new, in case they release something with twice as many bonus points or something like that, base points, then to even break the Mii's. But until then, the Mii's are where it's at, and I think there are some people saying, well, Nintendo can't let this happen. They need to let other drivers that are not Mii racing suits get a fourth cap, and there's going to be some way that Nintendo's going to do that. So I'm not going to invest in Mii's. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. You cannot assume that that's going to happen. Please do not do that for your own good. I just want everyone to take into consideration where we are in the game, where Mii's have taken over the meta. They have taken it over. We can't turn a blind eye anymore. They have taken over. And with that, the bronze Mii racing suit moves up 4 spaces to the number 4 on our list, and the silver Mii racing suit moves up 6 spots to number 10 on our list. Outside of that, we've seen a lot of movement. No one stays still, but we see mainly just one or two going one direction or another. Meowser goes down 1 spot. Luigi Vacation goes up 1 spot. Charging Chuck falls down 2. Daisy Tie Dress moves up 1, which is great for her. Unfortunately, the Yoshi Gold Egg fell 1 spot to take up that place. Yoshi Kangaroo down 3 spots, and then the Mario Samurai up 2 spots. To round out the top 15, Petey Piranha now at number 11, which is great for him. Kamek at 12, Rosalina Volendam at 13, Peach Explorer at 14, and Pink Shy Guy Ninja at 15. Antlev, what are your thoughts on the top 10 and anything you want to add to the Mii's?
Yeah, a couple of points. So obviously the Mii's all went up. I think a lot of people have been asking me recently is why is Bronze Mii so much higher than Silver Mii? Bronze Mii has 18 tracks. Mii only has 14 non-city tracks. So, and also it's a better scale. I mean, Nintendo maybe doesn't consider it to be a better scale because they made it silver and Boomerang bronze. Yeah. But if you look at scoring potential, Boomerang is strictly a better item. If you look at the world records, a lot of them, I would say even the majority of them are being set now with Boomerang. If you look at Studfit's server, his action count competition of the week, almost every tour or every week, it seems like it's a Boomerang driver who's winning that. It's really just a better skill. So I mean, that's all there is to it. So
I will say, Lucky 7 has its own benefits that are different. The ceiling is not higher with Lucky 7. No. However, there are some great benefits, kind of similar to Giant Banana, where you can get off the track pretty quickly. There is some benefit to just the
higher floor, maybe. Yeah,
and the floor higher too.
For sure. Okay, so I mean, Silver Mii still went up 6 spots from the Mii bonus, and also because it's in ranked on the new Sky Sunday. Like I said, that track's not worthless. Ty Daisy got 1 buff, which is enough to bump her up 1 spot. And then finally, the other question is people are asking a lot, why is Mario Samurai top 10? He's garbage. He's not good. We have to keep in mind that this is a neutral ranking. This is a ranking for everybody. It's not a ranking based on your account, your inventory. And the thing about Mario Samurai is, yes, he's got overlap, but Charging Chuck has a lot of overlap also, and Pink Ninja has a lot of overlap also. But we still, consider them to be good because if you invest in them, they will be good for your account. The thing about Mario Samurai is it's not even that he has so much overlap with a whole bunch of different plus skill drivers or so, but he has 7 overlaps with Ninja Shy Guy. He has 6 overlaps with Meowser, and he has 6 overlaps with Bronze Mii. Okay, so maybe not the last one, but a lot of people who follow the meta are heavily invested in Shy Guy Ninja and especially Meowser. So it makes sense that you see his tracks Meowser's already got that one. But say you're a newer player and you got Mario Samurai and you're looking at things to invest in for your account, he will do great for your account. Or say you just never bothered to get Meowser, he will still probably be great for your account if you don't have Meowser and Shy Guy Ninja. So I mean, this is for everybody in a vacuum. If I could start a free-to-play account tomorrow, he would definitely be one of the drivers I would be interested in having on that account. I don't have him. He's not useful for me. But again, it's a neutral ranking, and it's the idea is give an objective assessment of his value. And we do put in a penalty for coin box overlap, so that's included.
Yeah, just to kind of put a bow on that, you see 4 coin box drivers, 4 boomerang drivers, and 2 lucky 7 drivers on this list. So this has the top skills, guys. If you're not investing in top skills, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I know Peach Explorer, people were mentioning, you know, why was she in the top 15? She's number 14 right now. She does have great, just general coverage, kind of similar to the green shell. Bob-omb Cannon does have a higher number of tracks. And you know,
just 31 tracks. I mean, that's crazy.
And some of the tracks that she has didn't have top skills on them. I know even Sky Garden, I was using her a couple of tours ago, just because she was the best option there for my account. So yeah, I think we did as much as we needed to when it comes to explaining the movement there. As for the carts, not as much movement. Hitbox is still king. You'll notice that's still intact. You know, I think Anselevin even had a conversation as, you know, is the hitbox too important? And honestly, let us know if you don't think so. I think no matter whether you're free to play, you're a whale, like hitbox matters, and it's very, very important. In fact, I would almost argue for a free to play account, hitbox matters even more because you only have so many carts to be able to have as pillars in your account. And so you can't, you know, you kind of want to be able to pick the ones that are going to help you get those coins more. So if you have any other feedback as to how you prefer us to tweak the algorithm so that it favors different things for carts, the skills mean very, very little, but the hitbox matters extremely a lot. And then of course, you know, all the other factors like whether, how many other top shelf items it shares with and others. So really, really valuable there. I'd say the biggest swap would be the Jet Cruiser and the Jukebox Buggy. They flipped between 3 and 4. Everything else stayed the same. We do have a Rambi Runner entering back into our top 10. It's kind of been like in that 8, 9, 10 phase back and forth, maybe even 11, almost for the last 12 months. So it's still a strong cart. It's got a nice above average hitbox there. So it's number 10 again on our list. Warrior Wagon at 11, Gray Cat Cruiser at 12, Tiger Bruiser at 13, Cact R at 14, and Dragonfly at 15. Angela, what are your thoughts on the carts?
Yeah, so the carts, there's not as much movement for the model change because they're first of all, there were some categories which affected only drivers, and secondly, like the top 10 carts are a bit more spaced out. I think like with the drivers, the like 3 to 7 or number 3 to number 8 were all like really, really tight, so there was like a lot of movement there. This is a tour where there's not many buffs. Like I said, there's only 8 retro buffs for cards, so even a ranked appearance is gonna impact the value of a relative value of a card. The actually biggest mover on this list, you don't see it, is the Armored Rider, because it's a double feature in a ranked week 2 on 2 retro tracks. The value of those 2 retro tracks increased by our ranked bonus for that one. So everything kind of declined in value against the Armored Rider. So it's further ahead as number 1. Jet Cruiser, that's just a quirk of the model. It was really close to the Jukebox Buggy, and it has some. It's not the newest cart, but it has like quite some paywall tracks. So with like a low number of top shelves, so that's kind of why it kind of held a little bit value. But the change isn't really that much. Rambi Runner is also used in ranked, so that's what helped it skip up a spot. But yeah, not a lot to say about the cards.
You know, my favorite part of doing this segment and having these top 10 is when you see a number 1 item continue to get buffed or continue to be in ranked, because that just shows the value of these top 10 lists. These aren't just for fun all the time. I mean, it's fun having conversations, but like if you are investing in these top 10, 9, most of the time you're going to benefit because these are the ones that are riding high. These are the ones that are peaking. So if you're investing in these, you're going to find success. You're going to, again, that's why, Candlelight Flight as an example was top, number 1. Last tour was used, 2 times in rank. So, I think I love that this list is we're almost kind of thinking about like a stock trader or something like that. We're basically saying, hey, this is the hottest stock. Invest, buy. And here it is. The stock's going up. So absolutely love that fact. And that's what I really appreciate about the algorithm and how we've, these little tweaks matter because we're showing you guys which things to invest in, and a lot of times they're paying off. Last but not least, the gliders. And by the way, I was thinking about this just as an idea. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. But we have these me suits, right, with these added bonus points. I wonder if we'll have kind of a me suit variation for carts or for gliders. like how would that change the meta for carts? And because we have so many, it probably would even make even more impact on the meta. So I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about what could happen in this anniversary. How could they take things to the next level? What if they had like a me cart, and it kind of looks like, they kind of did that kind of with the B-Dasher Mark IIs in a way, and kind of like providing all these variants. But my personal prediction is for the anniversary, have some kind of me meta shakeup for gliders specifically. So that's my prediction. We'll see what happens. Maybe it's a little outlandish, but that would be a way that they could kind of jack up some of the interest in the game and make things a little bit more fun. Candlelight Flight holding out number 1. Golden Wings not too far away at number 2. Both of those the same as last tour. We did have a little flip-flop with Wonderful Wings and Record Setter, but both have been strong. As we talked about, Wonderful Wings got these 2 nice buffs there for it. A huge winner this tour. Record Setter down 1 to 4. 8-Bit Bullet Bill holding out that number 5 spot. Right now it's the top 8-bit item, which 8-bits have always been pretty strong. Glittering Parasol up 3 spots to number 6. Ship's Wheel down 1 spot to 7. Sakura Origami Glider and Galaxy Glider both up 3 spots to number 8 and 9 respectively. I absolutely love the Galaxy Glider, and it's used and ranked all over the place this tour. 8-Bit Super Mushroom at 10, down 3 spots. And then to round out the top 15, the Starry Great Sail at 11, 8-Bit Fireflower at 12, Aurora Balloons at 13, Nabbit Oil Paper Umbrella at 14, and Black Ray Sail at 15. Ansel, what are your thoughts on the gliders?
The Candlelight Fight actually also got even stronger because it's in ranked on Wrestling is Ice World RT. Great one. Wonderful Wings, that's an obvious one because it got those 2 buffs. As we mentioned before, it makes sense that it went up. It was pretty far behind the Golden Wings, so that's why it didn't go up more slots. But it's like almost caught up. Like if it would get another buff next tour, I would say it would jump in at number 2 spot. Looking at the other movers, the Glittering Parasol and the Galaxy Glider, they're up because they're both twice in ranked, so they're just getting a bonus on their tracks for being in ranked. And then finally the Sakura Origami, that's a little bit due to the model change, a little bit due to being in ranked, and it got a Sundae end buff. That's basically it for the gliders.
Cool. Let's talk about the other movers and shakers. So we have Daisy Sailor going up 25 spots to number 67. Nabbit Me Racing Suit, King Boo Me Racing Suit, PD Piranha Me Racing Suit, Silver Me Racing Suit. A lot of Me Racing Suits, as you can see, have gone up anywhere from 14 spots to 6. With PD Piranha himself going up 6 spots from 17 to 11. And then Daisy Holiday Cheer up 6 spots to number 58. I had double on Captor as a part of my top 10 run, and it was nice to see her being used here this and getting a buff. Anytime you have someone from 2019 or whatever is getting a buff, you're always a little excited for those who have been playing for a while. Then moving into carts, we got the Tropical Truck. My personal favorite, again, got Vampire Flyer and Tropical Truck are my 2 favorite carts of all time. It is up 26 spots to number 52 on our list. Sneaker up 21 spots to 71. Flowery Bandwagon up 15 spots to 57. Kind of skim down. Watermelon Cart up 15 to 86. Coral Jet Cruiser. This one stands out. This is a big one if you have it. I already know it filled a lot of people's gaps. I know everyone in ER has been clamoring for it and very excited for it. It went up 14 spots to number 18. White Bruiser up 12 spots to number 30. It's been slowly creeping, but if you have it, I have it at 8,700, and I've been loving it. It's been in Coconut Mall. It's been in Yoshi Valley. It's been in all these awesome even Vanilla Lake, for as terrible of a track it is. I'm using White Bruiser on it. I'm absolutely loving it. Frostwing gets a little buff, but it's number 59 on our list, which isn't great. Cream B-Dasher Mark II, 109. Sakura Hot Rod up 8 spots to 69, as we discussed earlier. And the Carp Card up 8 to 91. And then for gliders, this 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom, huge winner this tour, up 31 spots to number 42. Seeker Skull up 23 spots to 27. That one's great there too. Tropical Balloons up 19 spots to number 30 on our list. It's a huge jump there. The rest of the jumps aren't quite as big, but the Piranha Plant Balloons, as we talked about, get a nice non-nitro buff to number 35 on our list. Pretzel Glider, Fire Manta Glider went up 12. Meteor Balloons, Gold Eggshell Glider, Tulip Corsage, and Blizzard Parasol. Angela, what are your thoughts on the movers and shakers?
I think the PD Piranha going up to 11 is he was very close to getting in the top 10. So let's hope he gets there next tour. The Coral Jet Cruiser, big jump as well, as you were saying before. This is a little bit due to being buffed, and not that many carts being buffed in this tour, and also that in that range the scores are like pretty close together. The Piranha Pant Balloons is up to 35. That was a pretty big jump for that one. And that whole set is actually looking really good. The PD Piranha, the Prime Pipes, and the glider as well. It's looking like a pretty solid set. I'm feeling like a little bit of an idiot for completely skipping that pipe. And finally, we got the 8-bit 1-up glider, which made a huge jump, and that's based on those 2 great buffs that we got. But it's like we say, when there's a tour that's light on buffs, the items that do get buffs really make a big move.
Doing a little A/B testing with the style. Let us know what your thoughts are on this style. Kind of a little different on the black background. I kind of like a little bit more than this white background as an example. But a lot of ranked unlocks, specifically for Vanilla Lake 1, Vanilla Lake 1R. Obviously, the Vanilla Lake 1 being the SNES, and the Vanilla Lake 1R being the remix version, and then the Rosalina Ice World RT. So those 3 tracks, a lot of unlocks. When you remove those, only one other unlock for a Sky High track, and that comes on the RT version. The Mint and Berry Balloons unlocks at looks like level 6. Outside of that, for the Ice Mario Cup for week 1, you got Mario Classic, Wario Hiker, Ice Cream Mii Racing Suit, and Yoshi Reindeer. You got the Brown Off-Roader, Banana Master, Ice Blue Poltergust, Fair Flyer, and New Year's 2020 that could be unlocked at a certain level. Feel free to check this out on Reddit if you have one of those items and been thinking about taking it up to the next level. And then for next week in ranked, Vanilla Lake 1R, the remix version, Toadette Sailor, Penguin Mario, Pauline Rose, Toadette Explorer, get on different unlocks there. Armored Rider, that's a pretty strong one too. As we discussed, it's a level 3 unlock, so really strong one there. Gold Zucchini, Purple Bunny, and Wild Black, you might have a level 6. Those were really strong last year. Those unlock there. And then a lot of options when it comes to gliders. We got the Icy Mario's Mustache, Secret Scroll, Silver Surf Master, Galaxy Glider, Meteor Balloons, and Rainy Balloons. And then for the Rosalina Ice World RT, a very fun track if you have Santa Bowser, because he is unlocked at level 8, as we discussed. Outside of him, you might be using a not plus skill, but I think if you have to invest in Santa Bowser, go ahead and do it. It's certainly going to be worth it over the long run. But you have Waluigi Vampire, the Nabbit Mii Racing Suit, and Wario Cowboy as well. For the Karts, Cupid's Arrow, Wild Slugger, Daikon Rocket, Green Lightning, Comet Tail, and Ice Blue Poltergust. I think the Cupid's Arrow at level 3 might be one to target, as it's got the nice hitbox and a top 10 perennial that we've seen really, really strong this year. And then for the gliders, Icy Mario Mustache, Pink Gold Meteors, Dream Glider being a really popular one as well, but that one's at level 8. And then the Super Mario Kart Glider. So there you go. Those are the ranked options that you can unlock there. But when it comes to multiple use, and then both of these, really the last 2 resources, this one and this one here, and the next one, all produced by Larry98. He will be releasing his spreadsheet very, very soon. In fact, I know he's going to be on Kart Talk next week. He might even be thinking about releasing the hounds around that period of time. We'll see. But for multiple use ranked items for the Sundae Tour, you have a couple items, 3 specifically that are you can be using 3 times for drivers: White Tanuki Mario, Ice Cream Mii Racing Suit, and Penguin Mario. With the last 2 having a level 6 unlock. And then you have a variety there, I think a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items you could be using twice for drivers, including Berta White, Cat Rosalina, Dixie Kong, Ice Mario, Penguin Toadette, Purple Koopa Free Running, Silver Mii Racing Suit, Tanuki Rosalina. All those, nothing to unlock. Bowser Santa obviously has this level 8 unlock, and then the Toadette Sailor has a level 3 unlock. For Karts, you have Frostwing can be used 3 times, along with Frosty Bells, ice cream minibus. All those 3 times with the ice cream minibus having a level 8 unlock, probably really difficult to use. But we're finally using the Frostwing for those of us who actually have it. Nice to see it there. It's been a rough year for the Frostwing, unfortunately. But we're now moving into kind of a winter time, and it's technically still August. But I don't know. It could have some future value in if you end up getting it in the special pipe in a couple months. Cheermellow, Chocolate Banana Minibus, Cream B-Dasher Mark II, Gray Cat Cruiser, Ice Dozer, Iron Cucumber, and Sweet Ride all can be used 2 times without anything unlocked, with the Armored Rider having that level 3 unlock, certainly a strong one to take into consideration. Daikon Rocket, a level 6 unlock, and then the Ice Blue Poltergust, 2 unlocks at level 6 and level 8. Then for gliders, Icy Mario's Mustache used 4 times. That's a lot of times, and maybe that's the intrigue for those who would like to invest in it after the special pipe. But you're gonna have to take it to level 6 in order to use it all 4 times, because it has a level 3 and a level 6 unlock. And then probably the most my personal favorite on this list is Galaxy Glider with a level 6 unlock used 3 times. Monster there. And then the Mint and Berry balloons used 3 times with a level 6 unlock as well. The rest of these items you can use 2 times, including the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom, Blizzard Parasol, Flying Flappers, Glittering Parasol, Record Setter, Starry Great Sail, and Vanilla and Chocolate Balloons, all used 2 times without anything unlocked, with this Secret Scroll with a level 3 unlock, and the Silver Surf Master with a level 3 unlock as well. And then finally, All Cup ranking MVPs. Obviously, White Tanuki Mario can be at the top of that list. You can use him 11 out of the 36 tracks. That's phenomenal for him. If you love Giant Banana, you're all in these Giant Banana. You're the Giant Banana. Feel free to invest in him. If you go in for top 10 or top 100 or top 1,000, he's gonna be a fun driver to do it with. Could save you. Maybe you might be able to do it in less hours. Which it really, when it comes to All Cup ranking, it 100% comes down to time. And the loadout, of course, with skill being probably third on that list, to be honest with you. Penguin Toadette used 10 times. Ice Cream Me Racing Suit as well, with Toadette Sailor used 10 times. So those 3 drivers 10 times. With Birdo White, Dr. Peach, Gold Me Racing Suit, Silver Me Racing Suit, Charging Chuck, Dr. Bowser, and Mario Golf all used 8 times with different unlocking options, with Tanuki Rosalina, Wario Me Racing Suit, Penguin Mario, Petey Piranha, Cat Mario, and Daisy Sailor used 7 times. For Karts, obviously this brand new Chocolate Banana minibus is going to be the most beneficial. 14 total tracks. That is a lot. That's obviously higher than anything else you see on this list, with the Strawberry Soft Swerve at 12 times and the Ice Cream Minibus 11 times. Jukebox Buggy used 10 times. That's a huge meta cart. That's gonna be massive. 10 out of 36 is great. Frosty Bells used 9 times, along with Coral Jet Cruiser. Cupid's Arrow 8 times, and then Cream Bee Mesh Mark II, Gray Cat Cruiser, Roaring Racer, White Bruiser, White Turbo Birdo, Cream Cat Cruiser, Goo Goo Pink, Tiger Bruiser, and Flowery Bandwagon used 7 times across the board for them, depending on the different unlocks. And then the top 2 gliders would be the Mint and Berry Balloons and the Icy Mario Mustache, both used 11 times with different unlocks. Aurora Balloons, Flying Flappers, Tropical Balloons, Vanilla and Chocolate Balloons all used 10 times out of the 36 tracks. Galaxy Glider and is used 9 times this tour, with the Starry Great Sail 8 times, Meteor Balloons as well, both of those 8 times. Then the following gliders are used 7 times, including the number 1 glider in the game, Candlelight Flight, and number 2 glider in the game, Golden Wings, with pink gold meteors, Polka Dot Manta Glider, Silver Surf Master, Gold Egg Shell Glider, Red and Gold Umbrella, Secret Scroll, and Luigi Parafour. And so, if anything you want to add to the All Cup ranking, people at home watching?
I think the Flying Flappers may have actually even more tracks because of that commemorative cup boost. So I think it may even have like 12 tracks.
10 substantial as it is, but yeah, that one's really strong. Good point there. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go, guys. We're well over time. I think we're at an hour and 23 minutes, which is actually kind of our average. But thank you guys very much for joining us today. Thank you, Antilev, as always, for adding some context to the algorithm, adding all these details on these new items. You're a huge asset to the community and to this channel as well. Thank you for joining. What would you like to say to your fans as we part ways?
Thanks for listening to me rant about Nintendo's track selection. Nintendo, please mix it up a little bit and give us some older tracks back.
Yeah, if we make 2 recommendations for Nintendo, it would be bring us some of these old tracks back every so often. Less Vanilla Lake, please. And let's get this Sky High Sundae out of the Nitro category. Give it to us more. We don't want this to be Nitro. We do feel that it is going to be, and so we have to kind of, in trying to be the best stewards of these resources, be able to dictate this. But Nintendo, give us more Sundays. We would love this track to come back more often. It is a very fun track. I enjoy it. I know it's just an oval, but they're so colorful. It's so much fun, and with narrow tracks with giant banana is a lot of fun too. So thank you guys for joining us today. You'll hear us on Kart Talk later next week. I think I even have a little strat of the week coming up here shortly for you guys. So thank you guys for tuning in, and may the friends of luck be with you. Thanks, guys.